One of the most visceral debates in modern jiu-jitsu is the gi versus no gi flame wars that we see online. Those on the gi side claim that no gi is nothing more than a sweaty man dance performed in high-performance spandex. And those on the no gi side say that training in the gi is just a slow-motion struggle inside oversized, sweat-soaked pajamas. And each side insists that their version of the art is far more realistic. But in reality, this entire argument completely misses the point. It's like arguing that kale is better than spinach. It is the context that matters more than the fabric that you're wearing. And for the older grappler, this distinction is not just academic. It's critical to the long-term development of your jiu-jitsu. And that's what we're talking about today. The tired old debate of gi versus no gi jiu-jitsu, and why most people get it completely wrong. Welcome to the Alchemy of Struggle, baby. Many of us older grapplers prefer the gi for very obvious reasons. It helps us slow the game down and helps mitigate the athleticism of the 22-year-old wild banshee white belt. In the gi, that young lion is restricted by a 4-pound kimono. But if you ever find yourself in a situation where the gi is removed, you are forced to confront a terrifying truth. Because if you think he's a problem in the gi, wait until he switches to no gi. Now you're facing Spider-Man in his natural habitat, without any of the safety nets offered by your gi grips. If you only train in the gi, your jiu-jitsu has a blind spot the size of a semi. And you have to ask yourself a really hard question. Is my technique truly sound? Or have I learned to use thick pieces of fabric as a crutch? Using a lapel to stall a position is not the same thing as truly controlling another human being. If your game completely evaporates the minute that fabric is gone, are you truly practicing the art of jiu-jitsu? I was reminded of this just this past week. My go-to pass is the over-under pass, and my specific iteration requires heavily on controlling the near leg by gripping the pants. But last night during no-gi, that handle simply was not there. So I had to make several mid-roll adjustments to find the mechanical truth of that technique, instead of just relying on fabric. I eventually pulled it off, but it took real work and a level of focus I sometimes sleepwalk through when doing the same technique in the gi. Now I can take that no-gi variation back to my gi game. But to the no-gi guys who are nodding their heads and pumping their fists, you're not off the hook either. Because if you only train no-gi, you are equally vulnerable. I've seen guys who move like Spider-Man when they're wearing nothing but shorts and a rash guard. But the second they put on a gi, they move more like the penguin. Slow, awkward, and unsure how to move. And they freeze up because they have absolutely no idea what to do with that damn grip that's on their sleeve. Now I can spend the rest of this video explaining why putting on a gi fixes the failed defense structure of the no-gi guy. But I'm not going to. And the reason is simple. I know who watches my channel. As older grapplers, the vast majority of us gravitate toward the gi. It's our home base, where we feel the safest and the most effective. So the real assignment here, it's figuring out how to use a small dose of no-gi training to fix our own blind spots. So we're gonna focus on that problem. The whole gi versus no-gi debate is actually kind of silly. Your academy might have 2 separate classes on the schedule, but the art of grappling itself is a single continuum. It stretches from judo's explosive stand-up focus, all the way to wrestling's top-heavy pressure game. It's about understanding where you sit on that continuum at any given moment, and what specific solution your jiu-jitsu needs right now. Because personally, I absolutely hate no-gi, but I still do it. For the exact same reason that a toddler is forced to eat their peas. In my head, I'm bitching and moaning all the way through the training session, sometimes out loud. but I know it's just the medicine that I need to keep my old man pressure game from becoming stagnant, lazy, and overly reliant on gi grips. But there are hidden advantages of the no-gi game that cannot be ignored. Even in the gi, I've always preferred to grab the wrist instead of the sleeve. It's a habit heavily influenced by my time on the wrestling team back in high school. And most gi practitioners are perfectly comfortable with breaking the grip on their sleeve. But they are completely lost when you put a vice grip directly on their wrist. It bypasses their standard defenses and gives you a level of control that they aren't used to while wearing a kimono. When you train no-gi, you are forced to find what I like to think of as the skeleton of control. You have to look for the actual wrist, the actual neckline, and real underhooks. And when you stop reaching for cloth and start reaching for actual limbs, it changes everything. It transforms your gi game from just being grabby to being truly heavy and sticky. And you start controlling the actual mechanics of your opponent's movements. And the real tell is this: how much of your gi game translates into no gi? But if you're completely lost once you take that gi off, then you have some work to do. Becoming more comfortable in no gi makes you less reliant on gi grips, which actually expands your options tenfold when you put that kimono back on. And you realize that the art is more than just a series of lapel grips. And for those who are still hesitant, you don't have to completely upend your training schedule. The magic is in the dose. I train no-gi only once a week, and it's just the dosage I need to keep the mechanics sharp, without turning my training into something uninteresting and unbearable. But here's an important word of caution. For the older crowd, the context is different because the risk of injury is much higher. Just last night, I was working some reverse de la Riva transitions, and I woke up this morning with the right knee talking a little bit more than usual. Without that friction of the gi to help control the movement, you risk your joints taking on more torque than usual. So you have to be extra vigilant and extra careful with your movements and managing your intensity. The benefit is that it forces you to be more intentional, because as an older grappler, you absolutely have to be. So let everyone else argue about which style is more realistic in the streets or whatever. Ignore that fake war and take off your gi once a week and eat your peas. Find the mechanical truth of your jiu-jitsu game and bring that insight back to the kimono. And whether you're banging it out in the gi or in no gi, the most important thing that you can do is bulletproof your body against injury and setbacks. And to see how I do this well into my 50s, make sure you download the free strength protocol linked in the description. Or if you want access to the full system, the complete mat longevity protocol, that's there too. But most importantly, remember to keep up the good fight and stay safe on those mats.